Lewis Hamilton is on pole for the race. The sprint is in Shanghai, China. Max Verstappen is second, both outpacing Oscar Piastri's McLaren. Gabriel Bortoleto surpasses Nico Hülkenberg and is 14th, teammate 19th. Liam Lawson from Red Bull has another tough day and starts from the back. Earlier, Lando Norris excelled with McLaren in the free practice, so it's too early to say that who can win the race. But Hamilton starts in front. And tonight at midnight, we already have the sprint. At 4 in the morning, the qualifying then for the Chinese Grand Prix. Friday, March 21st, 2025. Today, Ayrton Senna would have turned 65 years old. So, with so much that happened tonight, sit down so we can talk about everything. I truly feel like a king without my little girl. Let's talk before the free practice, because it happened earlier and can say a lot about the rest of the weekend. Lando Norris was the fastest with McLaren by a good margin, with Leclerc in second and Oscar Piastri in third. Remember that this is the only free session of the weekend, because we had FP1 and then the sprint qualifying, and later tonight we have the sprint and the race qualifying, and then the race itself. In other words, only 1 hour for any kind of practice, only 1 hour to tweak the setup. A completely different track from Albert Park in Australia, with high-speed corners, very strong braking, and one of the longest straights. 11:30 in the morning, local time, 12:30 a.m. here in Brazil. The green light and Oliver Burman were the first to hit the track. He who had a terrible weekend with Haas last week. Among the rookies, only Jack Durham 6 years ago had driven in China. Neither Bortoleto, nor Lawson, nor Burman, nor Isaac Hadjar had set foot there, and neither had Antonelli. We had some off-track excursions, Alamar Albon and Lawson himself, with the Thai driver from Williams saying there was something loose between the pedals. The track, which is not used much and was completely resurfaced last year, was evolving very quickly for the race. I will take this opportunity to explain what I mentioned here last week about this. Someone asked, but what does evolving quickly mean? I responded to the comment, but there might be more people who have this doubt. The asphalt accumulates rubber as the cars pass by, and the track keeps getting better. This is called track evolution, from the first session to the second, from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. The best moment for the track to rubber in, therefore, will be on Sunday at the end of the race, because the rubber settles into those grooves in the asphalt, making it increasingly suitable for the tires to grip. The session was proceeding smoothly until Jack Doohan triggered a red flag for stopping in the middle of the track due to hydraulic steering issues with the car. The hydraulic systems, as we always mention here, are fundamental in a Formula One car, controlling the operation of most things in all systems. When the green flag was waved 7 minutes before the end of the session, remembering that a red flag does not stop the clock in free practice, a line of cars had formed at the exit of the pit lane, with everyone wanting to make one last outing. Leclerc went out and set the fastest time, but was quickly overtaken by Norris. 4/10 faster than the Ferrari driver. Piastri came through and was third. Hamilton was fourth, ahead of Russell, and behind them, Nico Hülkenberg, showing that the Sauber car has potential to be tapped into. And look, we ended the pre-season saying it's the worst car on the grid, but they are gradually finding performance in this thing. The 05, Sauber's car with this name still traces back to the tradition of Peter Sauber, who gave the car a C in honor of his wife, whose name is Christine. Alonso was 7th, Fernando Alonso, 8th Kimi Antonelli, 9th Yuki Tsunoda, 10th with Racing Bull. Burman was 11th, Lando Stroll 12th, Esteban Ocon 13th, Piastri Gasly 14th, Carlos Sainz 15th, Russell Max Verstappen 16th. But Verstappen aborted his lap with soft tires, so we don't know his pace on a flying lap. I mean, we would know in the sprint qualifying, but that time of his was set on medium tires. Then at the end, only rookies. Isaac Hadjar, Liam Lawson, Gabriel Bortoleto, Jack Durham. Rounding out the top 20. Before talking about the sprint qualifying, you're seeing the miniatures from the Formula collection, right? I showed them in yesterday's video. Take a look. Leclerc's Ferrari from 23, the McLaren with that commemorative livery from last year. In reference to Senna's helmet and the Brazilian flag, the RB16B of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. This one is Verstappen's from the 2021 Turkish Grand Prix with that commemorative Honda livery. They are provided by our partner Formula Collection, which supplies miniatures for us to raffle to our subscribers every month of the season. 3 per month, every month. This is the first batch. And we also have for the channel subscribers 3 books from Oliver Publishing. Also during the season months, every month, always in the last live stream of the month. Therefore, the last live stream of the month, Sunday, 6 p.m., here our post-race. To enter, it's easy. Become a supporting member of the channel. Link below in the description and also on the join button, that is, become a member. There are 4 plans for you to join. All plans have standard benefits of watching videos in Premiere and having priority response in our live streams. And all plans have guaranteed gifts. And whenever I sit down with a new sponsor, I negotiate new gifts because, after all, we want to deliver benefits to you. And a bonus from the Paddock Pass plan and up, people have the right to join our WhatsApp group with me, with Houston, and with the 200 or so others. They say, I don't know if it's true because I'm only part of this Formula One group, that it's the best motorsport group on the entire internet. I have to believe it, all right? There's still time to sign up. There's still time to compete. I'll see you at the live session on Sunday, 6 p.m. You have to go there and shout, I want it. To be filtered by Houston's robot and enter the draw. Last message. My book, Splash and Go Veloz, Stories of Motorsport, which is still on sale on the Oliver Link Publishers website down here, is now also available in electronic version. And if you don't want or can't have a paper version, we have a lot of friends who live outside Brazil. You can buy and download the book on your electronic device. All right? So, that's it. Let's continue. In the qualifying for sprint books, Hamilton surprised himself and even the most optimistic of tifosi by securing pole position for tonight's short race in Shanghai. Second was Max Verstappen, so you can imagine the start we'll have tonight. And third for Oscar Piastri. Hamilton clocked a time of 1:38.49, 0.018, better than Max Verstappen, both outpacing Oscar Piastri's McLaren. When Hamilton's engineer, Riccardo Adame, said over the radio that he had set the fastest time, he responded, really? And he laughed a lot because even he couldn't believe it. But let's start from the beginning. In Q1, after just 1 hour of preparation, as I mentioned, it was time to set the grid. The grid is set for the sprint in a format similar to qualifying for the Grand Prix, but with shorter times. Q1 is called SQ1, Q2 is called SQ2, and instead of 22 minutes, there's a bit less time, with the total session being 44 minutes. There are 12 minutes in the first part, remembering that there is also the rule of mandatory medium tires for everyone. In the first part, sun and clear weather, Oscar Piastri went for it. 1:31.712 and set the reference time. Half a second ahead of everyone. Everyone led by the unlikely Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso with Hamilton in third. Then Leclerc and Norris. It seemed like they were letting the older ones have a little fun at the front. On the other end, Duhan was leading the group that was on the bubble to be eliminated. 15th, the last of those advancing to the second part, conditioned by Sainz, Berman, Bortoleto, and Ocon in the elimination zone. Reaching the final minutes of the first part, Hamilton set the best time, 1:31.21.2, showing that perhaps it wasn't just a favor being given and that there might be pace to be extracted from this Ferrari. In fact, Norris, who won the Australian Grand Prix, said in the interview after the race and before this weekend started in China, the Ferrari car. It's not what you saw in Australia, behind Hamilton and Norris. And then Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, and Antonelli. Berman went there in a heroic effort, got out of the relegation zone, and climbed into the top 10 with Haas. He, who, after a weekend with several mistakes at Albert Park, needs redemption. Yuki Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz, and Gabriel Bortoleto also managed to escape relegation and then move on. To the second part, those who didn't make it were Liam Lawson and also Nico Hülkenberg. Eliminated, Duhan, Gasly. At least Duhan is ahead of Gasly, or with Hülkenberg and Lawson. Lawson has shown several times that he is a fast guy, but soon the countdown will start against him. If he doesn't do something, a weekend first working with the team, Albert Park, it's a complicated track that he hadn't driven on yet, etc. But Shanghai is a permanent track, it's not street asphalt, etc. It suits more what he was used to, and wow, Verstappen placed the car. In second, in Q3, Hülkenberg has a rookie teammate, Gabriel Bortoleto, and he has always been a fast guy on flying laps. So once again, always with the characteristic caution of this channel, I say point for Bortoleto. Once again ahead of Hülkenberg, when it mattered on the flying lap, Durham was ahead of Gasly. Not too bad. Ocon, who was behind Oliver Burman. Watch out, because the rookie is fast. He had a bad weekend at Albert Park, but it won't always be like that. Second part, mandatory medium tires for everyone as well. Now, 10 minutes to find out who would advance to the final part. During the first sequence of laps, Norris set the benchmark with 1:31.74. Then Piastri, Verstappen, Antonelli, Leclerc, and Hamilton. Russell was 7th, saying on the radio, "These tires are just not working." When a Formula One driver says this, if you're just tuning in now, it's not that the tire isn't rolling, the tire is no longer round. There's simply no temperature for it to work. A Formula One car tire needs to be within an ideal temperature range. Below that, it doesn't grip the asphalt well. Above that, it also doesn't work correctly, losing grip and shedding the famous rubber debris, and generating blisters. Therefore, when a driver says the tire isn't working, it's either not generating enough temperature to reach the ideal point, or it's overheating and going beyond the limit. Bortoleto, Hadjar, Tsunoda in this first part were 8th, 9th, and 10th. Moving on to Q3, hypothetically. Leaving out Stroll, Sainz, Alonso, and Oliver Burman. In the end, Alonso was the only one from this group who actually managed to advance, securing a spot in Q3. Once again, he was also ahead of his teammate, who is a fast driver, Carlos Sainz. Interesting trajectory for the album, reaffirming that it has quality and speed against the toughest teammate he has ever had, at least during his Williams days, because the album was already at Red Bull, teammate of Verstappen, and then the level is different. Norris remained in first, Russell managed to climb to second, possibly now making the tires work. Alonso couldn't advance and was 11th, Burman also couldn't and was 12th, Sainz 13th, Bortoleto 14th, Isaac Hadjar, who didn't set a lap, 15th. And Sainz said on the radio, "I don't know what's happening." Eliminated then Alonso, Burman, Sainz, Bortoleto, and Isaac Hadjar. Green light on, SQ3, the Q3, final part. Everyone on soft tires, 8 minutes to form the top 10. Piastri went there, 1:39.29, signaling he was in the fight. A very fast lap. And according to Russell, in third, Lando Norris with the other McLaren. Then Hamilton appeared with a lap, 1:38.49. And he took the lead from Piastri, pushing the McLaren number 81 to second position. Norris aborted the lap. It was possible to see him going straight and not even finishing, completing. And then it seemed it would be Ferrari McLaren, but Max Verstappen completed his lap and pushed Piastri to third position by 0.08. Behind Hamilton then, it was Hamilton first, Max Verstappen second, Oscar Piastri third, Leclerc fourth, Russell fifth, Lando Norris only sixth, and Antonelli seventh, followed by Tsunoda. Alonso and Lando Stroll ahead of Alonso, who was 11th with both Aston Martins. Together, followed by Burman, Sainz, Bortoleto, Hadjar, Doohan, Gasly, Ocon, Hülkenberg, and Liam Lawson, who desperately needs to do something good to get his head in the right place. Today at midnight, the start of the sprint, the short race at 4 a.m., the qualifying, and on the night from Saturday to Sunday already, 4 a.m. on Sunday. The Chinese Grand Prix, 4 a.m., but at 3:45 a.m., we start our broadcast on another channel. Our parallel broadcast project here, on this channel. Another channel, a little joke. Well, now you have another channel to watch, not just the broadcaster or F1 TV. You turn it on, put the images on mute, and listen to us commenting here. I, Rodrigo Lamonato, in the commentary. Matthias Ornelas, whom we borrowed from the NFL. He will be narrating the race for us, while I snoop around all the radios, the race direction, and bring insights to you. Last week, we broke our record, 4,000 devices connected, almost 60,000 views. Let's go again for another race, with Bortoleto performing very well. Hamilton starting at the front in this sprint. Let's see how the race grid will be formed tonight in what could be another great race. The Australian Grand Prix last week was breathtaking. These schedules are fixed on the channel's Instagram and Twitter, in case you need to look them up. If you are part of our Telegram and WhatsApp notification groups, you have already received it on your phone. It's already saved there or to send to friends. Links to these channels are below in the description. So that's it. Leave a free like, it costs nothing, you know? And it helps the channel a lot, which continues to grow rapidly. Do me this favor, do us this favor. Also leave your hype with us. Our performance. Performance is disproportionate in relation to our size. Versus channels 10, 15 times larger, because when I ask you to leave a like, you go and do it because it costs nothing, right? If you want to tell us who wins the sprint and what your starting grid is, comment. Don't have a formed guess. At least write the city from where you're watching us, because our audience is national. Take a look later in the comments to see where people are writing from. Or they might have sent a message from Mozambique in Africa, a country that speaks Portuguese. A hug to our friends overseas. No, guess. Don't want to say where you're writing from? At least put an emoji, a checkered flag, a little Brazilian flag, whatever you want. Because the algorithm understands this kind of thing as engagement and distributes the video further and further. To not miss out on anything else, this is the last message. We have our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok, where there's content, time, all the time. The handles are being shown here. The links are down below, also in the description. And it's Friday. You already know, but it doesn't hurt to remind you. Thanks. A big hug. It's Friday. And be sensible. Don't jump the gun because at midnight there's a sprint and we have to watch it. Thanks.